I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real.
One more time.
Oath of the Freedom Fighter by James Stewart Kelly. Upon my sacred honor I shall fight to the death to remain free. No one shall govern me. I shall submit to no authority. There is no question in this matter. I shall always refuse to obey. I shall face my enemy squarely when he attacks. I shall counterattack. When he rests, I shall press the battle. And when the time comes that I face my final departure, I shall take my enemy with me, for he is a creature without mercy, and he deserves none. By James Stewart Kelly.
Yeah.
That is a stand of all Americans and all good people that want freedom over the world. To add to that, some gentleman or somebody added or wrote here, Nemo me impune lecesset. No man attacks me with impunity. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Grace is my option, not my imperative. Okay? I'm going to give you guys each a copy.
Yeah, awesome.
The needle tears a hole.
Oh, we'd like to get your story about what's happened so far in your case.
So you want a recap?
A quick recap, yeah. Because we online there's little videos where you've given updates. But I haven't seen just a quick, brief synopsis for people that are coming into wearechange.org that may have never heard of Ed and Elaine Brown.
Yeah.
We'd like to, just get your story out about your non-crime.
Non-crime, right.
1777, Continental Congress put out some people called rangers of many different types. One of the rangers they put out was the United States Constitution, Continental Congress Rangers of 1777, which is, I became a member of back some 10, 12 years ago, something like that. But prior to becoming part of the Rangers, investigating organized criminal element in government, I was with my wife and myself, rather, had decided, we had made a decision to find out what's going on in our administration. Because we noticed that there was something very wrong, and as we get more and more information, we realized that we need to expose it. So after a lot of years of investigation, we started to, had decided that we'd go with the IRS and challenge them and challenge that. Elaine could explain that to you.
You guys didn't just stop paying taxes. You actually sent letters in and requested, simply as U.S. citizens, a clarification and an understanding of the law.
Right.
For 10 years.
It wasn't that you were trying to avoid paying taxes, lawful taxes.
Right.
We would still pay them today if they show us the law. We'll pay them right now. We'll cut them a check. And you pay immediately. There is no law. They can't show it to us.
Are there taxes that you pay now?
Yeah, about 56 or so taxes we pay. We only have the taxes.
Right.
For the moment.
So what we're talking about here is unlawful taxes.
Right. Exactly.
There will be another one coming up pretty soon.
And so what happened was they came after you guys for some sort of money order, postal money order.
That was one of the charges, yeah.
Simply going down to the post office and buying some money orders.
Right.
They called it structuring, which is not even a word in the dictionary. Some word they created. She could explain that to you, what that means.
In 1994, we started writing letters to the IRS, asking them to show us the law requiring us to pay an income tax. Not just us, but anyone in the pursuit of their ordinary occupation. We sent them information we had based on our research, Supreme Court decisions, statutes, congressional records, all that sort of thing. We never got a response. So in '96 we decided we would challenge it, and we notified them that until such time as they showed us that law, we were no longer going to participate. So we stopped paying taxes. In November of 2004, they raided my dental office, 28 armed agents, local police, state police, all to download my computer.
Ah, don't forget the sniper.
And the sniper up on the hill, state police sniper.
With 3 observers.
We heard nothing from them until May of 2006, when we were arrested. It was a sting set up with the Lebanon Police Department.
And the water department.
And of course, the local police probably trying to be thinking that they're good citizens.
No.
And
Yeah.
actually, no.
No,
They,
no, they do.
they knew. I mean, they had all, Ed has for years given them information regarding jurisdiction. They knew the feds had no jurisdiction here.
Proof positive.
Don't you think that local police get very excited, to be involved in a federal thing?
I think it's fun for all of them.
Yeah, they have a good time.
Yeah, it's macho, the testosterone's
Right.
going, and they're finally getting a chance to play with the toys they've got and put to use all the training they've had. Well, finally we can do it. So Edward and Elaine Brown were charged with 16 counts of tax evasion, conspiracy, willful failure to withhold from employees, structuring, conspiracy to structure, and so on. The charges regarding tax evasion and failure to withhold, which is 7201 and 7202 of the Title 26, are nothing more than penalty clauses. They do not impose any legal duty on anyone. All they say basically is, if you don't do this, you're going to get charged with it. You're going to get punished like this. But nowhere does it say that I'm required to pay a tax. Nowhere does it say I'm required to withhold. Nowhere does it say my employees were required to pay tax. The structuring charge, we would go to the post office and buy $2,800 worth of postal money orders. And this we used to pay our property taxes and our mortgage payments. Because we kept it under $3,000, thus avoiding the federal reporting requirements of the post office, we were charged with structuring. Now, structuring laws were initially put in place to track money laundering. Laundering of money that is gained illegally through drugs, illegal aliens, whatever.
Extortion.
There is no money laundering involved here. Even the judge said this in court. No money laundering involved.
And the comical part is that the federal government launders way more money.
Yeah.
And deals in drugs way more.
Well, of course, but they always exempt themselves from the laws they pass. So all these charges are basically non-crimes. We have violated no laws whatsoever.
Now, what's interesting is that you're actually citing clauses, numbers, paragraphs,
yeah, absolutely.
right? Okay, and the local law enforcement, so speedily in aiding our federal government, do you think that any of those officers have ever read any of those?
Yes.
Oh, they have read.
Oh yeah, she doesn't believe it, but I gave them the information time and time again. I gave them the 861 law from Lack and Rose. I gave them the jurisdiction from attorney Larry B. Kraft, which was a total complete dissertation on jurisdiction, covering both sides, which is very fair. They had foreknowledge, including the police officers. I gave them freedom to fascism recently when I first came out, hit the streets. Over the last, since 1992-93, I've been spoon-feeding the local law enforcement, including state police in New Hampshire here, to all of this information. They just refuse to either look at it or believe it, or they already had another agenda, along with the federal agencies. You've got to understand that the police departments, a lot of these members are Fraternal Order of Police, which is another Freemason organization. I mean, these Freemason organizations are everywhere. Yeah, but besides that, go ahead, Elaine.
After our arrest, we started submitting motions to the court. In excess of 40-some motions. Except for one, every motion was denied. And they were professionally done. They were solid motions, full of law, full of fact. And many of these motions were denied without any objection being filed by the prosecutor. So the judge has taken it upon himself to deny motions. He's supposed to rule on a motion based on the information that's in front of him. Well, in many of the cases, he had no information from the prosecutor in front of him.
Now, this is a federal judge.
Federal judge, yeah.
Okay.
Stephen McCullough.
Steve McCullough.
I think the most pointed thing here is that under the protection of you living here in New Hampshire, your local judges are supposed to protect you from the federal tyrannical forces.
That's correct.
And in this case, that didn't happen.
No,
Did not happen.
they aided the federal courts
Yes.
by taking our tort case when we sued them, turning the state case over to the federal, which then dismissed our case. In retaliation, the federal court now, the same people that we filed our case against, including now McCullough, we found out, turned around and retaliated against us and arrested us. That's what it's all about. They're out to get the Browns, to get the Rangers. Let's shut them up because they're after us and they've got the hard evidence. And they knew if our case ever went to court, we'd nail them to the wall 6 ways in the sun. Because we had, at that point, like 12 years of evidence in our hands to really put them behind bars. So they can't let that go to court. So all the judges working together. Remember, all judges and lawyers are also Freemasons through the Inns of Court organization of the Knights Templar.
Right.
It's also the job of the governor and of the sheriff to
To protect
protect
us.
us from foreign intrusion. And they have been noticed of this, not just by us, but by several other people who have written to them about it. And they have just ignored it all. Totally ignored it. During the trial, we were not allowed to present witnesses, evidence. During the whole trial, the prosecutor presented a mountain, I mean a mountain of paperwork, which contained figures of how much I had earned and what taxes we hadn't paid on it and so on. But never once did he present a law that we had violated.
They literally showed the jury in court how a dental office operates and runs through the books, admitting that the books were in perfect condition, in perfect, totally filled out.
It's amazing how they really do operate as a corporation and how everything is revenue driven.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
It's not about fairness and laws and protection of citizens.
No.
It's really about the money.
Well, where you mentioned corporation in Title 28, the United States is defined as a federal corporation. So if it's a corporation, it can't be a country.
And you've got to remember too, when we looked at Dun & Bradstreet, we found out that that particular court and all the courts were filed under Dun & Bradstreet as conducting a business through the Treasury Department here in Concord, New Hampshire. So the courts are a business, so filed with Dun & Bradstreet.
So to get back to this now, the judge, you're filing these motions.
Yeah, denied.
Right.
Even the request, motion for bill of particulars, just offhand denied. One of the pretrial hearings we were in, there were still 2 motions, I can't remember offhand what they were, that he had not ruled on. So Ed said to him, we still have 2 motions pending, they haven't ruled on. Now, remember, the prosecutor had filed no objection to these 2 motions, and the judge looked and he said, "Oh, you do? Well, let me look. Oh, yeah. Oh, denied. Just like that, word for word. Denied. The judge informed the jury that they were not allowed to consider the law, that he would tell them what the law was, and they could only judge the facts of the case.
That's called jury tampering.
That's jury tampering. One of the duties of a jury is to judge the law as well as the case. That's the only way we keep tyranny out of the country.
Do you know of any case ever where a juror was ever tried for anything?
A juror?
A juror. No, I think it's one of the biggest secrets is that as a juror, you can do anything you want.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing they can do against
But
you.
they don't know that. They're not instructed
Right.
that. That again is where you get jury tampering, by not giving them, they need to be fully informed.
To have a complete, you got checks and balances, but to have a complete system, you have the people who elect the people to write the laws that are judged in court. But it's the people again to come full circle to be able to judge whether those laws have been implemented unfairly, and it's really the people's right and duty to protect the other citizens.
That's right.
It's called jury nullification.
Yes,
And
yes.
they'll have none of that in this courtroom.
So after 3 days of trial, it was apparent to us that this was really a kangaroo court.
Mm-hmm.
We were in trial Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Thursday night we came home and decided that Friday we were not going to go back into court.
We have lost
So
all
we
faith
did
and
not-
confidence.
I think I would too at that point.
So we were given an extension until the following Tuesday, as Monday was a holiday, to come back into court, or they would continue the trial without us. So we talked about it all weekend, and Ed decided he was not going back. I decided I would go back and finish it. So I went back in on Tuesday and talked with the public defender, and it was decided that he would see what the prosecutor had to offer as far as a bargain, negotiation. So what he came back with was that we would plead guilty to all charges. Well, that wasn't much. It wasn't much of a bargain. So I opted to not plea bargain and go back into court. And besides which, I wasn't guilty anyway, so I'm not going to go with it. So I finished up, and when I went back in that Tuesday, the judge told me that the only way he would let me leave without being incarcerated was if I assured him I would not come back here, that he would allow me to leave under my son's, come on, help me out, what's the word?
Custody.
Custody, thank you. And that's where I stayed for just over a month. Of course, the jury came back with a guilty verdict. The jury was totally clueless.
Right.
They had absolutely no idea what was going on. They just wanted to get out of there. You could tell. I mean, they were only 2 hours, I think, in.
Well, again, it's this concept that everyone has that everything's well and good. The government is our friends, and so when you have a judge sitting up on a bench, that's a very specific figure in your mind. Now, think about this: a man in a robe and sitting up on a lofty perch, and obviously this man is there to defend the Constitution and the laws, and they must be telling us the truth.
Exactly. It's a very intimidating situation to everyone. So he set sentencing for May 24th, and I was to go and stay at my son for those 3 months. So I was there for a month, and it was the most miserable month I've ever endured. I could not stop crying. I was having most god-awful anxiety attacks, which I've never had in my life, even to the point where I went to a doctor about it to get some medication, which and finally, after a month, I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I packed my bag and came home and said, freedom. And got home, cut off the ankle brace that they had me in. And that's it. We refused to go back into court. We do not acknowledge them. Any kind of correspondence we get from the court, we just write on the envelope. No one by that name here at the Lord's house. We have learned a great deal since then. Through a priest we have been with, and we are not Elaine and Edward Brown in all those capital letters.
That fictitious corporation.
Right? Those people are deceased. We are Edward and Elaine. We are living souls in the body of the Lord, and that's who we are, and that's where we stand with the Lord's law, because man's law and God's law, you got to go with one or the other. Man's law, we found, doesn't work.
Conserve, but one
Doesn't
master.
work. So now we have one law book, and it's called the Bible, and that's what we stand with.
So really, we're talking about a system that isn't acknowledging their own laws and constitutions, so why should you acknowledge them?
Precisely. They only acknowledge it when it's to their advantage. So, of course, there are arrest warrants out for us. I mean, we're felons, convicted felons, we're this and we're that, but we are righteous, and that's why we stand as we stand. They will do what they're going to do. That's up to them.
We have given ourselves the gift of honor many years ago, which only we can do. No one can give it to me. Having so done, we can never lie, cheat, steal, or con with anybody at any time over anything. So we don't.
Right. And we don't volunteer to go into their prisons for non-crimes.
The only way they can have jurisdiction over you is only one of two ways. Either you volunteer, as most people do, you just walk in because somebody said you walk in, so they walk in, or they come take you by force. If they come and take us by force, under criminal law, state of New Hampshire, state of New York, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, all say, and every other 50 states, including international law and law of nations, states that if you know you have not committed a crime, anyone comes after you to arrest you, to incarcerate you, to do you bodily harm, or whatever, for any reason whatsoever, including law enforcement, federal agencies, or whatever, you may use equal or greater force to resist them, or lethal force. Equal or greater force, or lethal force if necessary, to protect your life, limb, property, pursuit of happiness. And that's the law.
That's where we are.
So that's where we stand right now.
Well, wearechange.org, we came up here to New Hampshire, and we're a group of individuals of action. You know, you guys were really forced into this situation. It's not like you really, I mean, you guys wrote letters.
Well, no, well, we did, but we understand this was an ongoing investigation by us, which then turned into the Un-American Activities Investigations Commission, which is what I created back in the mid-90s. Then, with the Rangers allying with the UAIC, this is our investigation, and this is still our investigation. My wife and myself working with these groups to bring the criminal element within our administration to justice, which we've done our job as a ranger from 1777, as a man and a woman, living under the laws of Creator of the Ten Commandments and the laws of this nation, Articles 1 through 10 of the Constitution, 1 through 39 of the New Hampshire Constitution, law of nations, and take your pick. We've done everything we were supposed to do under the law. And now we sit, waiting for the rest of America to wake up, to get off their dust, and let's go forward here and bring this criminal element into the courts, or our courts, not their courts. Their courts are totally gone. There are no courts left or in this country any longer. There are no lawful judges that we know of, or any lawful lawyers or attorneys. All lawyers are gone, but then they've got attorneys, which, remember, again, are all Freemasons. So how can I deal with a seditious enemy in our court system, our political system? Almost all, if not all, senators have sold out, federal as well as state. We know that, fact of record. Most of our legislators and congressmen have sold out, so we can't bring any redress agreements to any body, which we had in courts, was our last area of redress agreements, that is now gone to us, so we no longer have a place to bring any redress agreements anymore, except now the only thing that we can see is to stand here and wait for it to come at us and go to the cartridge box if necessary.
People have been almost pleading with us to appeal. Won't appeal. We will not put ourselves back into any of their laws and into their jurisdictions, because we have removed ourselves from their jurisdiction. We will not accept their sentencing. We will not accept their conviction. We are here as free man and free woman, and it's up to them to do what they will.
Well, we've been here, we've been talking for well over an hour with you guys. I'd be proud to have you guys as neighbors. I don't think that I'd be fearful of you. And, you know, there's probably people out there, of course, through the news, you're going to be smeared as tax avoidance people. And
mostly
well, these guys just don't want to pay their taxes.
Understand, it is lawful to avoid, it is unlawful to evade. Most people don't understand that that tax that they're talking about, that so-called income tax, is a voluntary tax. It's like going to your church, and you volunteer to pledge to the church $10 a week for the next year. Well, that church is now relying on that pledge for the next year to survive. Same thing with the IRS. You volunteer to pay or to contribute 28% of your monies to them. You did. You filled out the form. You signed the contract. Once you signed that contract and agreed to contribute that 28% to the federal government, now they need it to so-called survive. Well, now it becomes compliance because you wrote out a contract. If you didn't fill out a contract, you don't have to pay a dime. Don't sign a contract. They can't bother you. It's that simple.
I talked to some really old people, because I'm around a lot of old people in my business, and I say, do you remember when you first filed an income tax? And they don't remember. I said, I bet you they probably started with something real small, and they I talked to a couple of them. They said, yeah, I kind of remember it was like a 1% thing, and then
3%.
Okay, and then they just slowly. But really, what we're talking about is all about money, isn't it? I mean, just about everything is about money. And I brought this along, Ed. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. This is the Kennedy 1963 Executive Order 1110 $5 bill. That is an official United States note.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I present that with you. Yeah. No, you can. I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you. That's a great educational tool.
Yes, it is.
I picked these up.
It's not a note. It's a dollar.
Yeah.
A note is a debt.
It actually says right up here at the top. It says United States note right there.
It's not a Federal Reserve note. It's a United States note.
Oh, it does.
And you can pick them up. I picked that up at a flea market. That cost about $8. And I carry that around my wallet, and I got several more. And we were outside the Federal Reserve building, Ed, and we were protesting, and there was a young security guard that was asking you, hey, what are you guys protesting? We said, because this is a private bank. And he said, this isn't a private bank. What are you talking about? This is the security guards right in front of the Federal Reserve. And the sergeant comes out in a white shirt, and he goes, yeah, it's a private bank. So the workers don't even know.
Right.
And they don't even get government checks. They get private checks. The people who work at the Federal Reserve get private checks.
Really?
Yes. So that means they're not a government institution, although they are protected by federal police officers. We had a conversation with these police officers, and it's kind of funny because the lower ranking I don't want to say this, dumber officers, they don't have a clue. But we had this one gentleman, the captain, the lieutenant, with the guy with the white suit come up to us, and he was like, yeah, it's a private bank. And he was like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So there are people within the institutions that know exactly what's going on. And we were talking about this before, they're waiting. They're waiting for something.
It's coming. You tell.
During the trial, they had four, I think it was, IRS people as witnesses. And I asked each one of them, do you know what the Title 26 definition of a taxpayer is? And not one of them knew. And their response was, no, I don't know, I'm not an expert on the code. So they're enforcing laws that they don't even know anything about.
They don't even know what they're about.
Yeah.
And that's why people are so ignorant and so blind with
in fact, they're not even laws, they're not positive law.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Of statutes or with limitations or
Think
whatever.
about it, guys.
Yeah.
Think about it.
But
why haven't they bothered to come in here and take us out already?
because people are waiting. People are waiting.
And we're with the Lord.
This time.
We are with the Lord.
Sure.
He's protecting.
They
Just
know.
like it kind of goes along with the secret.
Yeah.
Because the secret is
Sure does.
the energy of the universe.
Yes.
If you believe it and you really are thinking positively about it, it will happen.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the Bible. If you truly believe that the Lord will protect you and you stand under His protection, He will protect you.
And that's really faith. When people talk about faith, I don't think it's really just saying the word and saying, well, I did. It's living it and experiencing it. And that's amazing, the things that the people that draw into your life and the amazing coincidences and things. I want to get your reaction to a couple pictures. This is a Reagan retrospective time. And there's a lot of pictures in here that a lot of people haven't seen. Here's a great picture, I think.
Oh, Reagan with the Pope.
You know, Reagan with the Pope.
With his boss, yes.
With his boss. Here's Reagan, only a few, I don't know how long he was in office, when John Hinckley Jr., and of course the Bushes lived next to the Hinckley family. And Neil Bush was at John Hinckley Sr.'s house the day of the assassination attempt. I didn't know if you knew that. And John Hinckley Jr. was taken to a special Marine barracks area. He wasn't taken to the DC Metro. He wasn't taken to FBI headquarters. He was taken to an area in the government military establishment that deals in psychological manipulation.
MK Ultra stuff.
Yeah,
that's the guy that tried to assassinate Reagan, right?
That's right.
Did you know he also had The Catcher in the Rye on him, which is the same book that
Or Catcher in the Rye gets the whack ball.
This area here is just a bunch of just great pictures. Here's Reagan with the Queen.
The Queen. His other boss.
Now, we can start to see some symbolisms here and things. That really what they're doing is they're rubbing our noses in it. I think this picture right here, Ed, I think is going to really just blow your mind. Okay? Now, if this doesn't say it to the American people, now listen, what are these people pointing at? Okay? They're pointing at the ocean, they're pointing at the sky. Okay, what you see here is Gorbachev giving a Masonic fellow craft sign. Okay? This is the fellow craft sign. Okay? Look it up on the internet. Right? What you see here is that Reagan is now lame duck. Okay? He's leaving office. He's pointing to George Bush's face, saying he's the new guy. Okay? And now George Bush is pointing the way forward to the New World Order. And the sign is the World Trade Center. Okay? Now, and the caption is New World Order.
I remember the speech though where Bush said that.
Yeah. It's September 11th.
But I dare anyone to try to explain this picture. Okay?
Wow.
I heard they really like to brag. They really like to brag and show off.
However, I don't think they're going to really appreciate what the real New World Order is doing.
Right.
Because there's a difference.
Yes,
I don't know if you want to talk about that, the difference between an idealistic New World Order and an evil New World Order. I don't want to say evil, but what the elite, I don't want to even call them elite, what the people in charge want and what we want.
They believe, they truly believe that what they're trying to do, it used to be the America's manifest destiny, but they truly believe that the manifest destiny of the world is their responsibility and only they are capable and know what to do. Now, George Bush Sr. was halfway decent intelligence, but his son, Jr., is an absolute uneducated, not educated, educated individual that can't really put together a long sentence, a single long sentence, intelligently. That's very frightening to have a man like that in power of the most powerful nation in the world. But yet this is the kind of people that they truly are. They really are not that intelligent, but they are very manipulative. You have to go back to the Khazarian time and read who the Khazar people really were in history. Who were the Pharisees? Who were these same people throughout history that knew how to manipulate and change and sway people? It's kind of like the worm tongue in that movie they got there on that trilogy they just went through that I like so much.
Matrix?
No. Aragorn and Strider and Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Okay, that worm tongue guy behind the king's ear, whispering in his ear. You see, that's how these people work. With the leadership, they put them in positions of power, and they make them leaders, like you just saw in that picture there, George Bush Jr. and Sr. And then they manipulate them. Clinton was a good example of that. Hitler was one of World War II. They did the same thing with Hitler. He was set up for them. Communism was no different. However, again, the same people. Here we are today now. What are we going to do today to resolve the problem? We can talk about the problems and the issues all day long. What do we need to do to resolve the problem?
Well, boy, I tell you what, I don't think there's anybody in this room that hasn't just gone nuts thinking about this and trying to come up with what are the ways. I think education, that's the first thing we always think, right? Because we feel like we got to get the numbers up and we got to get the people on our side.
No, we don't. It's done. It's already a done deal. Number one, this is not our game. This is God's game.
I would
okay?
totally agree
Number
with that.
one. Number two, we are nothing more than His puppets from the Creator. We will do what He tells us what to do, and I know clearly what I'm told to do. And I won't tolerate this nonsense for a second from any quarter, from anyone. You want to go ahead and keep on raping these women and murdering these children and raping them too, you pedophile people? You want to keep poisoning our food and our air with these chemtrails over all the time? You want to keep poisoning the children with these immunization shots? And you got 160, one out of 166 of these people and children are going to end up with autism.
Yeah.
Versus how many millions is it for some of the disease? It's ridiculous.
I don't know who I'm more mad at, the people that are doing this stuff or the citizens in this country that know and don't do anything.
No. This is Freemasonry in its purest activity and action. Its ability to orchestrate and change and sway people's minds by manipulating the nation to the point where they control every aspect of it. Education, schools, the military, judicial. Listen, we know that Freemasonry is controlling the law. Don't we? All you got to do is read Black's Law Dictionary and look up Inns of Court, I-N-N-S, Inns of Court. You'll find they're a Knights Templar organization. No one becomes a lawyer or a judge worldwide unless you go before the Knights Templar Inns of Court organization. So they control the entire judicial worldwide. That's a fact of record. Right out of their own books. Black's Law Dictionary, look it up for yourself. Then you go to the Bank of England. Remember, this all stems out of England, Germanic, okay, and further back out of Khazar. Then you go and look at the Bank of England, the 23 square ground acres that they have. On the Bank of England's 23 acres is a Knights Templar temple.
Right.
Duh. So let's see now. Now we know they control the International Monetary Fund. So if they control all of judicial worldwide, they control the International Monetary Fund, which is worldwide. What else, gentlemen, do they have to control the world?
The armed forces, I would think, the military.
If you control the purse strings and you control the law, and that includes JAG and the military,
they have the infrastructure.
they already control the military.
So their
Their military is just loaded with Freemasonry on the upper levels already. Why do you think they're fed more and more billions and billions of dollars now each year? They control it all. However, the numbers are still quite small. Everybody thinks that they've got the numbers. They don't. You see the masses of people pouring out of a city while you got 2,000 people, 1,000 on one side, 1,000 on the other side, are banging it out and shooting and killing each other. All right? And then tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of people pouring out of the city.
Right.
That's what you see in every war, in every battle.
Right.
What are we, nuts? We outnumber them probably 100 to 1, if not enough, 100 to 1, probably 10,000 to 1.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know who I'm more frustrated with. Because I think the fear and intimidation factor they have us under is so great. You know, because everyone that you talk to that knows, that says, well, why don't you do something about it? They're afraid of getting audited. They're afraid of
you see, Michael,
right.
Who cares what they think?
Right.
It's only what you as an individual think. One man, you think one man can be right and everybody else be wrong?
Well, I mean, that's
I want this question answered. Can one man be right and the entire world be wrong?
Yeah.
You know the rule. And who
world's
proved
flat.
that? Remember?
Wasn't it?
Who proved that? One man can be right.
Galileo?
Well, no. Huh? Columbus. Colombo. Cristobal, by the way, it's Cristobal Colombo, not Cristobal Columbus. He was a Portuguese. He wasn't Italian. It's in the Vatican archives. Just look it up. And Cristobal Colombo said the world is round. And everybody else says, you're nuts, it's flat. He's going to prove it. And he did. He proved it, didn't he? So one man was right, the rest of the world was wrong.
Yeah.
That being the case, could moi, little old me and my wife here, the two of us, be right and the rest of the world be wrong when we say it is Freemason Illuminati? Okay? Well, which I know you all know.
Right.
Of course. So we don't care what everybody else thinks. Listen, if 1% of the world, 1% of the world knows what's wrong and knows who they are, do you think they can match those numbers?
Right.
The other
Well,
side?
wasn't it really the revolution that took place in this country against England? Wasn't it really the one percenters
It was more than that.
that brought about the revolution?
But
It's only about 5, I think.
yeah, probably about 5. But even so, we've already got more than 5%. Okay, we knew back 12 years ago we had 7%.
It's always a minor percent, very minor percent that makes a change. Even in the opposite way, countries that have fallen to communism, it's only been 5 to 7% of the people who.
How many people do you think the Black Panthers were made up of when everybody panicked in the whole country? How many members did they have at the time when the country panicked about the Black Panthers?
Well, look at the statistics on terrorism.
But watch this.
You know, more people die from peanuts.
That's what I understand.
Yeah,
But watch
okay,
it. How
so-
many people do you think there were? The Black Panthers when this country was
20,000?
How many?
20,000? Not even.
The Black Panther organization, how many? I'd say 50 major cities, maybe 10 or so, so say 500 maybe.
Closer,
Yeah.
right? Two
members.
Two people started some little crazy book that they had. They brought up there on some university out in Chicago and sang, and the FBI got it, and the whole nation like Gridlock, the Black Panthers. They said, "Wow, this is working, man!" All of a sudden, all kinds of people come aboard to join the Black Panthers. And the largest number they ever had at any given time was probably around 1,500 at the most, all around the country. But the news media made it look like there were tens of thousands of them. And there never was. Small number of people is all you require.
And I also wanted to bring this up because that's why I think you guys are so important. Because you guys are so courageous. You guys are so relentless. To me, I mean, just showing. I mean, you guys are such great examples.
Oh yeah, once you go hide,
you don't have to be scared. And you guys aren't scared.
No, we're not.
And there's many people that know and are scared, but seeing you guys, it really is inspirational, really is motivating because you guys aren't scared. People are scared.
You have to work through it. I was terrified. Absolutely terrified. Ed is my strength. I had him. But I can sit here now very much at peace, relaxed.
It's important to understand that this is not really about greed. It's not about not paying income tax. It's about the Constitution and before the Constitution. Like you said several times, it's the law of God, the law of war.
Yeah, exactly. You can frighten me. I can be startled, man. You know, I got my back to you guys all the time. I don't know who you are, right? But you can't intimidate me. You can't make me do something wrong.
Right.
I tell you, so they've not only dumbed down society, but they've really done a number on the males in our society because we no longer really are in a protectionist role and a leader. It's the family unit role.
The word is called emasculated. They have emasculated the American man since the 60s in this country through lawsuits and all kinds of other crazy things. So the men in this country just go, not me, I'm not going to get involved. I am only one guy, you can't fight City Hall. What nonsense. We fight City Hall constantly. All right? There's not a fight anyway, it's just a matter of what. We say, hey look, we're not going to do this because of this. No more building permits, which we haven't done for years. No more dog licenses. Now there's not going to be any more driver's license, registration on the property and cars, trucks and stuff that we have. That's over. There'll be no more school taxes. They're only teaching communism and homosexuality and stuff with school taxes. And I have nothing against the homosexual. That's their business. They're going to have to deal with God on that issue all by themselves. Got nothing to do with me. All right? Things like that. If the tax provides a service, and it must provide a service, that's the law. If it provides a service that I need and want, I will pay for it. If I don't need it, I'm not paying for it. And I'm not paying for a school tax where they teach something that's going to do me harm. Right. How stupid would I be to do that?
And when you look at it, man, when you really go down the rabbit holes and start to figure out who's really involved here, and you find out you're financing really almost the devil.
Well, you are financing the evil. There's no question about it. But how stupid, even if you don't want to believe in that, to finance something that's going to do you harm.
I mean, think how much good can be done in the world if we turn that money into, I mean, when you look at Katrina, the people that really saved those people were the churches and the community. The government didn't care about those people.
There is no, well, come on, Michael.
Yeah,
look, who's the government? Let's clear this up. Who is the government in this particular geographical nation?
Depends on how you define that. Because everyone does say it's generally the government, you know.
Who is the government in this nation under contract law called the Constitution?
We the people.
We the people of these United States, combined contract of the 13 original colonies. Not the United States, but the United States of America. They say the United States. They don't use America, and if you notice that. And the oath that the military personnel take is not to the United States of America, but to the United States. Two separate jurisdictions.
And we agreed to those laws.
We had a contract that some good, even Freemasons at that time, put together that we accepted. And as long as that's what the Rangers were all about. As long as though that contract was not violated in any way, hey, you go about your business. So any amendment to the original 10 amendments, any attachment, okay, to the Bill of Rights must not violate Articles 1 through 10. Must not. If they do that, they are to be ignored from their inception and they are null and void. That's a fact of law. So, like Article 13, original one, said no titles of nobility and stuff, okay? They changed that to say something else. Then Article 14, supposed to have freed the slaves. It didn't free the slaves. It didn't do a darn thing. Article 16 was supposed to give them more power. Never did. And on and on and on. You know, so all those articles that violate Articles 1 through 10 are ignored. We accept Article 1 through 10 as law of this land, as a union nation. Now there's 50 nations, 50 countries in that union. From Massachusetts to California. Okay? 50 of them. Alaska, Hawaii. So, yeah. We accept that contract. But all the other stuff that they've added that violates Article 1 through 10? No. The laws of God? No. We don't, and so we don't care what laws they pass, what bills or acts that they pass. It makes no difference. If it violates Articles 1 through 10, they're to be ignored from their inception and they are null and void. American Jurisprudence, 2nd edition, volume 16, section 155. 255, I'm sorry.
And how many amendments do we have today? Constitution that are really
Me?
putting it away. Amendments to our Constitution from that day.
Watch this. I have 10. All the others I ignore.
You know, it's so amazing that just 10 simple laws. What they've done is they've complicated the judicial system so grossly that no one can defend themselves. That it requires lawyers to be able to protect yourself from other lawyers.
I'm going to give you the argument on that one. That is incorrect. I don't care what they did. They cannot do that unless you either allow them or they do it by force. To me and my wife, they tried to do it. It didn't work. We won't volunteer to break the law. The law says you have a right to keep and bear arms for protection of self, state, and so on.
It's just a shame how many people out there that will just accept at face value everything that's told. We as activists, we always have police approach us and try to just tell us to do things. Step over here, do this. And when we ask them, what jurisdiction do you have over me? What is the statute that requires me to do that? They shrivel up and die. The other thing I want to say too is that I've done a little bit of lobbying now in my own state, at the state capitol. And it's amazing when you get the group together, even a small group of people, and you approach these people, how they back down. They love to just push their power on us as long as we let them. And they'll just keep pushing and pushing as far as they will take it.
Just ask them, Michael, say, sir, are you trying to intimidate me, sir? You wouldn't do that. You're here to protect me, right, sir? Is that why I'm paying your salary? Aren't you a public servant, sir? If they say, no, then you say, well, then you have the jurisdiction over me. I know that I paid tax money into the city of New York here, so you could protect me if I needed some assistance and I couldn't protect myself. You're telling me that you don't have to do that anymore? Because if you're saying no, then I'm not going to pay the money into that tax anymore. If you say yes, then why don't you protect me? Why are you harassing me, sir? Again, questions, always a question. I'm here to protect you, officer, and if I ever see you in trouble, I'd sacrifice my life to protect you. I come in and help you resolve your problem.
And in that note, I know that you guys have also been in contact with other people who have had their kids taken in by, Child Protective Services. You know, to free our kids.
One was Ayala Kaufman, a Jewish lady from Israel. Okay, 8 beautiful children, black hair. You know, see how black hair, black hair. Okay, blue eyes. You know, real pretty. All the kids are beautiful babies. 2 youngest ones. Now one's 12, one's 15. Raped, beaten. Okay,
they got the pictures were up. On the site.
10 or 12 psychotropic drugs on these kids. Okay, they're gone. They destroyed these little babies. Beautiful, but that's what they do. Now you see they're doing it to the Jews as well. They're doing it to their own. So wait a minute. Who are these people? If they're doing it even to the Zionist, because she's Zionist, if they're even doing it to the Zionist, then who are these people? Here's a Zionist Jewish lady. So she says, because even she doesn't know. That's what wakes us up over here about the Jews and stuff, right? Then who would go out there and destroy even the Jews, because we thought it was the Jews. Jews against the whites against the blacks against the Puerto Ricans against everybody, I guess, okay? Wow. That if it's not blood, it's not religion, and it must be political, then guess what? It is the Freemasons. Because they're the common denominator in every single problem globally for 2,000 to 3,000 years. Freemasonry. So now we must pay attention to Freemasonry.
I tell you what, anyone who's looked into that, and I don't know if you've gone to freeourkids.com website.
Free Our Kids?
Free Our Kids. It's an amazing website because what he does is he stands outside the courthouse in Florida and captures all the people coming out who have gone before this one judge. And remember, there's no juries involved, okay? Right. And it's a complete corrupted system where basically the money's flowing through. State. The people that house these kids, they're usually drug addicts or pedophiles, okay? And then they recycle that money into their drug use and things. And then the money system in Florida that's been running this thing has just been growing. They just keep getting more federal dollars. And but they interview these people as they come out of the courthouse, and they get their stories on film. And if you go to the website, you can actually see freeourkids.com. You can actually see the footage of people. I tripped over a lamp cord and fell on my child, breaking her leg. The paramedics that arrived then notified Child Protective Services, okay, because then they got all these laws that you got to instantly notify, okay, and with witnesses and everything, okay, it doesn't matter. They take the kid. Yep. Women that come out and say, "I've completed the training." And the judge looked at me and said, I don't like your attitude. I think you need more training. Okay, all of this, and these, I don't know what it takes more to get the American people incensed than and you see the pictures of these kids on your website. And I mean, the videotape testimony. I mean, we know this is going on. We know that, you know, there's some bad parents out there, but there can't be this many. Right. You also on your radio show, you have a gentleman from Illinois call in. Talking about his case out there. So this is, you know, this is a nationwide problem.
Well, we've known about it. Yeah. Ted Gunderson, ex-FBI in Los Angeles, came out with 3 books this thick. Each book is this thick. It's loose leaf on just the subject matter. And the problem is it's ancient. They do it in secret as much as they can. Now they're using Health and Human Services big time to get these children. Like I said, we have 1 million anyway, women and children sold into slavery, to the pedophiles and to prostitution and stuff every year. 1 million a year. Yeah. And what do?
DynCorp gets caught with a whole busload of them. You know, and Cynthia McKinney brings it out in a congressional hearing.
Gee, I wonder what I would do if they took my daughters or my grandchildren. I wonder what I would do. I'd kill a whole bunch of them. I would kill a whole bunch of them. I would seek them out. I would find out them or their affiliate, even if I didn't find them directly. I don't have any choice. See, now I can't wait for the father to give me directions. I am here to protect my children, my wife. And that's what I'm supposed to do. And if I don't do this, what kind of a man would I be?
Right. Yeah.
I'd be a abject coward. Protect your family at all costs. If you can't protect them immediately, as soon as you can, you go get them.
That's right.
At any cost, with whatever means possible or necessary. And you get a whole bunch of your friends and you go and get them and you clean out that pest hole. Because that's what it's coming to pretty soon here now. We know where the pest holes are all over the country, all around the world now.
I have a question, Ed. Do you think there's a peaceful resolution to all the corruption that we're seeing?
Do I believe there is? Well, let me put it to you this way. In 2,500 years, 3,000 years easy of research, I have never seen one. It has always ended violently. And the change had to come through violence, whether it was Greek or Egyptian or Roman or whatever, Napoleon in France or the Mongols. It always had to end violently, and it always did. No, I don't see a peaceful one. I suggest they have one last chance, these Freemasons, because this time the target worldwide will be Freemason, Zionist, Illuminati, and their affiliate organizations, and any individual who aids and abets these people. So they can do to me what they want. It doesn't matter. This thing is already in play. with millions upon millions of people worldwide in play. So all we're doing now is waiting for the moment when they cross the line just too far. And they're very, very close. World Trade Center almost did it. The Codex vote almost did it. The Texas highway that they're talking about, through cutting America in half, okay, is what they would have done, almost did it. Good thing they're pulling back on these things. And I strongly suggest to them that they take their ill-gotten gains right now, very soon, and leave. I suggest Mr. Bush go to Paraguay, if that's where he's going, and hide up in the mountains. But you know something, Mr. Bush? We know where you are.
Right.
It's all over. We've been checking you out all over the country and all over the world exactly where this compound, like you call this beautiful home I have here, a compound, your compound is going to be. And we don't care that you're going to put a large military base up there with 15,000 security, Blackwater, or a whacking hut security force down there. It won't matter to us. It won't matter to anybody in the world at that point. Because you have killed and murdered and butchered, and your Freemason buddies have, so many people worldwide that they are now prepared and anxious to neutralize this problem.
Now we know about the Bushes. What do you think of other individuals like the Rockefellers?
The Warbirds, the Bronfman up here with Whiskey 7 that you never hear about. Locally here we have this Irving Oil Company down here. There are many companies. Come on, what do you think these large corporations, pharmaceutical companies are all about? They're all about this control. All buddies, all Freemasons to do this thing is what they're going to do.
Well, talking about the pharmaceutical companies, kind of tying this back in, and saying to these people, you know, well, they're not really harming me, and maybe if I can just, you know, they'll just let me alone.
Who?
Okay, the people that don't want to step forward right now, okay, in fear, okay, what they don't understand is these pharmaceutical companies are working against them.
Well,
they're poisoning us.
Yeah, but again, you see, Michael, like so many folks, you're saying words that we've heard for so many. It doesn't matter. Let me give you a scenario of what's probably going to happen once this thing gets going. Do you believe that in a town, let's say you have a population of a town with a couple of thousand people in it, okay, and I'm going to extrapolate that up into New York with say 8 million people, or however many you've got, okay? Do you think there are enough people in a town of 2,000 with a police department of say 5 or 6 people? There are enough people in that town to take control of that town? If a situation, a critical situation, or try to take over that town should come. Do you think there would be enough citizens to take over the 6 or 7 police officers?
If the people are willing to be sheep.
Well, wait a minute. Excuse me. Do you? I'm not answering my question. Again, you're going back. You're reverting back to that same thing. Do you think there would be enough people in a town of 2,000 to take over if the police are working with the enemy? Okay, that they could stop this police department from giving them any more grief.
Of course you can.
I do.
Yeah. It takes initiative, though. I heard it takes that.
How many out of 2,000 people are educated and are going to resist?
Let me put it this way. Can you see? Are you military?
No.
There's a problem. Okay.
You're one person, right?
Okay. Thank you. One well-trained individual in that town that's got his stuff together and knows what to do can take out every one of them.
Because all the rest of them.
From that perspective.
From that perspective, okay? All right. Do you think there's that many in this town?
Driving up through here, I got to censor a lot of people.
Let me put it to you this way. If it only going to take one, well, we know there's 2. Well, we know there's 10. Well, hell, we know there's probably 100, all right, in the area. So we're not concerned about what the law, we're not here to fight with the local guys. Okay, even though they'll come in and kill me in a heartbeat, they already proved that to us. And my wife, they killed my wife and I in a heartbeat. They were there to protect. They came in with automatic weapons here when they came down to the property. The day they came down here and picked up my guns and stuff down here. I have my workers in here who they really should not get them guys aggravated because they got lots of guns in lots of areas. Okay.
Right.
The point is, gentlemen, that if in one day this thing could be over, one day, once this starts, everybody just takes care of their own town, then help the other towns, if necessary, if they need it, which I don't think they will, or their own county, their own state, country, or the nation combined. One day, for 48 hours, give them 2 days. 48 hours, this thing will be over.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, we all feel a brothership and a kinship in our group and what we've been trying to do.
So don't the others.
And we're a very diverse group. And you were talking about it. They'll do it to anybody. And I would like, what you said before, we were talking about it before, you were talking about just involving everybody. If you could just talk about that again, about including everybody. It's not just, whites, it's not just blacks, everybody.
Nationalities in this thing mean nothing. We're all made up of the same DNA. Every one of us worldwide. That's beyond a shadow of a doubt. Oh, there's slight little differences. So maybe my skin color is black. Or maybe it's yellow, or maybe it's green, or maybe it's red. Who cares? But you know something? I eat all the same food, basically, except what's available around the world. But we can all live on the same exact food. We have the same protein, the same whatever, right? Which is mostly vegetables, by the way, not meat. And of course, the poor Alaskans, kind of Eskimos, and they kind of throw that theory out a little bit. They don't eat much vegetable up there. Nationality. I mean, it doesn't even, for me and my wife, it doesn't even come into our thought process.
Right. They really got everyone divided, don't they? Everyone's in a group.
Look,
Everyone's in a
section. The division, that's the only way that they could have pulled off what they pulled off worldwide. That's why the European Union sort of speak now. First the division came about, and then now they bring it back under their rule of the Illuminati, of the Freemasonry, which is what they've done. Now they're trying to do it in this country here too, with all these 3 countries. They've already actually, the country is divided into its own separate countries, but let's put them under the rule of the United States, this country. Now let's put them under the rule of the 3 countries of South America, Mexico, and Canada, and the United States, and then we'll work in the South American country, and then we'll put it'll be the Western Hemisphere Union versus the Eastern Hemisphere.
Right.
That's what's going to happen. And that's how they keep doing it. Well, now we caught them. Probably in time, but just in the nick of time.
But that probably means that they're probably going to try to expedite their agenda.
They are. They're actually expediting it out. All of you senators, it's clear that the senators are, whether a state, in every state, or a national, that they are in fact doing just that. I don't trust a single senator in the world. All lawyers.
Right.
Most all of you congressmen and all of you are all lawyers. Only your state reps in your states will be, somebody else or anybody, but they can pretty well control that. The lawyers do.
Can you give a comment to the people to what they should do to, for the upcoming events?
Upcoming event?
Yeah, all the upcoming events.
For, what do you mean by events? What kind of events?
I think he's talking about preparations.
Well, I think that everybody should learn how to protect themselves the way our forefathers did. Everyone should have, in this day and age, with everything that they're coming at people with, they try to steal all their weapons to get you to stop. Never let go of your weapons.
Yeah, I know.
And those that don't have them, make sure you have at least one handgun. Everybody should. One shotgun, 12-gauge Magnum load. The handgun for me is Colt 45 Combat Commander, 1911. That's what everyone should have. I don't care if you get a SIG or a Colt, but 45. You should have a shotgun, 12-gauge Magnum minimum load for double-aught buck.
Right.
You should have a long gun, single-shot bolt action to use for long range. Reach out and touch someone, whether it's a 22 or a 308. Use their energy. Read the Communist Manifesto. Read it well. Diffuse their energy. Get them on drugs, sex, rock and roll. That's War and Peace, the front part of the preface in War and Peace, within the first 10 pages of that book. That's what it says. Drugs, sex, rock and roll, if you want to take over a nation. Okay? Get them go ahead and go and demonstrate whatever they want to do and have a good time, Just sing music and let's have lots of sex and...
There's a big difference between demonstrating and, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of demonstrations also, because people come in the street and just scream at each other with signs, and they're not affecting any change. What we do as change, as we are change.org, as our organization, we don't tell people, we reach out to people. We reach out to police officers and military personnel, and we educate them about the New World Order, educate them about the destruction of the American Constitution, educate them about the truth behind 9/11, and really make it personal and give them DVDs and give them flyers. And that's how I think people are really unaffected.
Early on in the revolution, I think there was these little grassroots newspapers, trying to put out the truth, you know what I'm saying? And I want to give you a couple of newspapers that have been started by some people. You can speak to this one. This is the American Recusant, and the girl that's the editor of this paper, she just showed up, and
yeah, we put that out in Albany. It's all local advertising that pays for it.
I like the idea.
There's a gentleman, a young gentleman, little Sean, what's his last name? Jason, out of Long Island. Probably not too far from you guys, probably half an hour or so from you guys. Puts out a really nice paper. He's really good, very talented.
Yeah.
And he puts out 2,400 papers to his student body out of 30,000, and he sells, they say 2,200 of them sell every week. Anyway, I've done 2,400.
And going along with this idea of trying to really bring together a coalition, this is DC 9/11's Truth newspaper. This is the first issue, and it's a great newspaper. He did a super job.
But see, here's what happens. And here's what happens on the camera. They see another paper, another piece of paper. Okay? Come on, guys. Every one of these papers are saying exactly the same thing. And that's wonderful that they're saying it, because that's how the people are waking up. And you're right.
Fluoridation question.
Yeah, I saw that. But no, I mean, there you go. Fluoridation question.
We were handing those out at the debates, actually. A big stack of them.
But understand, Michael, she is a dentist, not practicing. We don't practice. She doesn't practice. She conducts dentistry as her trade in industry, okay? Those that practice don't have it right, so they practice, like lawyers practice. Doctors practice. She's also a master, an herbal master. She doesn't practice this holistic health care. She conducts it. She heals, cures. Those allopathic doctors practice. They don't have it right. They kill off people. The safest thing you could do when you go to a doctor, a lot more people die from doctors than by guns, is to go to your doctor with your gun. Okay? You think
Perhaps you can mention that website again for the herbal remedies.
Which one? Dr. Lorraine Day. Dr. Lorraine Day is one of the easiest introductions to curing of everything in your body. Okay? She's the start. And then you learn through that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I used to always take all different kinds of medicines in a cold flu season. And for some reason, one time I read, and I said, you know, I'm going to take vitamin C. And I overloaded on vitamin. I'll tell you what, the minute I get a sniffle, I start taking vitamin C, it's gone.
The minute I get a sniffle, I take one drop of peppermint oil, I go, and I go,
Yeah.
okay? All the sinuses clear right up. And I swallow another drop of my tongue or two, pull it down, there goes any cold or flu.
You had a question earlier.
Yes. My researching the events of 9/11 are what sort of made me wake up, realize the seriousness of the situation. Really, what motivated me to become active. Was there, if there was, and what would you describe as a triggering event that led you on the path that you're on today?
Waco. I saw our administration, our public service. I'm the government.
So that was like your 9/11.
I saw them kill 84 American separatist Christians. And we were on the phone, I was on the phone calling up U.S. Attorney's Office, because my wife was familiar with, sleeping gas and stuff, and, knock you off. I want to just give everybody sleeping gas. They may have a headache when we're all through, but nobody will die. But they use gas all right. Cyanide, CS gas, when you put it to flame, it turns to cyanide. So we saw them murder our own administrative public servants, murder those people. That did it. I mean, I was already investigating, but that really woke me up and really put me in high gear. Both of us, and then from there.
It seems like it's always like one of these big events where they kill a lot of people that always wakes everyone up.
Well, 9/11 was a huge. Waco was a very big mistake because that got me involved. People like me around the country, a whole bunch of us. Now we're researchers. We dig in. Okay, so we kept our mouths shut all these years. You never knew about me in all these years. I didn't know about you guys either. But we were very under the radar, so to speak. Just doing. Once we got the information, that's it. Now we act on the information we have. Well, do we need large numbers of people? No. I mean, they're breaking the laws against us here, in this land. So we've got to respond accordingly. That was to stop doing it, stop enforcing it, having them break the law against us. So we did. That's all. Waco was the motivator for us, yeah. We need to hold that.
No, I'm giving you, Steve.
Oh. Yeah, we get lots.
You got some time to read, man.
What I get down to is American Free Press, or was, and what's the other one? American Free Press and
What? Emerson?
Emerson's Review out of Michigan. The small people like that. And they're all over the country. But
American people, if it's not from CNN or Fox, it can't be true.
Again,
and yet they pick up their stories from AP and these different networks from small town newspapers sometimes. So,
what does everybody think when all of a sudden the supermarket's closed down because there's no food to deliver? Or the lights go out.
See, I think inherently people know they're halfway there. They just need that extra push. I mean, the gas prices.
Oh, okay, Michael. Okay, but here, to save you all that. Look, it's called. Come on,
Artificial.
No.
Denial?
No. It's called.
Shock test.
It's a point of time.
Oh, critical mass?
Critical mass. Nobody understands it. The communism now, Hegel, Marx, and the them did the Russian thing. They're all waiting for it, that critical mass. What is the moment? What is the thing that's going to pull all these people together? It hasn't happened yet, Michael. That's why we tell everybody, slow down, be patient. Critical mass is the point where the consciousness, the mass of the masses, comes together at the same time and they move forward in unison.
Something has to happen, though.
Something has to usually happen.
They say something drastic has to happen, something good to happen.
And you will be, trust me. Okay? And in this country, there'll be different sides. But when critical mass hits, and it's almost there, I can feel it as you hear me say it time and time again. If you listen closely, I always put the message out. Besides saying brace, 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 the 3 words I put out, there is something very wonderful and very fearsome coming. And it is, gentlemen. Yeah, but when it hits, I want you to be ready. That's why I get anxious with everybody, because they're not ready. You keep spending so much time on the issues and the problems, you're not focusing on what to do against the cause of these issues and problems. Now, I don't want you running around Hilda Skelter or not, I want you to know what to do.
Well, we know that they're always one step ahead.
Oh, no, they're 3 steps ahead.
Yeah, right. And I hear when you talk about these issues on your radio show also, that you bring people around and say, yeah, but then what's going to happen after that? What's going to happen after that? People need to start to realize that the preparations that you guys are making, other people are making.
We're not making
anymore. Yeah, they're done.
But easy stuff.
Because you guys now are 3 steps ahead too.
And guess what? Guess what? What do you think? What do we want to watch tonight? We don't have to go out into the world at this point and we all get nervous and upset about everything. I don't care what they all do. I don't care even what Ron Paul's doing. I don't care what anybody else in the world is going to do. It's got nothing to do with me personally, yet. However, if they hurt you, or you, now I'm going to talk. Yeah, I'm going to talk to some of my friends.
And some of my friends.
Right? You got it. And say, they hurt somebody. So-and-so hurt somebody.
That's how the network works.
We need something done. I mean, it's already set up amongst us.
Yep.
Are you guys with us?
Oh yeah, we're here.
Okay.
I have more for other people's life than my own. I don't know why that is.
Yeah,
I mean, when I see those kids getting molested and things, I mean, that's more. That's something I would lay down my life.
I would immediately, anyone who raped a little child, and they're raping them as young as infant babies. I'm talking months old.
Yeah.
Okay? And sacrificing and killing them.
Sick.
I catch anybody ever doing that.
Right.
There would be no hesitation. I would absolutely kill them.
Yeah.
Let us spot. You have no right to do that in the eyes of God. And in the eyes of God, I have every obligation to do that.
Yep.
And that may sound radical, but that's not radical.
Well, remember, you said radical. Thank you. Thank you for calling me a radical.
George
What is
Washington.
it? That's right. You better believe they were. What is the definition, gentlemen, of radical?
It goes to the Latin word radish, going after the root of the problem.
The root of the problem.
Many people don't know that.
Getting to the root of, gentlemen, is what radical means. Thank you. So every time the news media, are you radical, Mr. Brown? And I say, absolutely. They go, what? Sure. Oh, you mean, am I an extremist? That's why I explained that. They say, oh yeah, well, are you an extremist, Mr. Brown? I said, absolutely. I'm extremely in love with my country, my fellow good people of America.
I like to say, just so happen to be over-informed and too big of a heart, you know? And that's the problem.
Of course, see guys.
Unfortunately, that's what we all need.
Have you noticed now, we've been here for an hour and a half, 2 hours here talking, right? Have you seen at one moment, now our generation here is probably about 40 years old, right?
Right.
The oldest, I'd say the 20s here, the average for you guys. 20. Have you seen me at any moment look down my nose at your age or anything, ever?
No.
I don't even care if you were 5 years old. I would consider you my equal, or a baby, my equal. You are men here. You're ready to lay it down, just like I am. Nobody else in the world do I care about. The people who, I understand their fears. I've had them. Been there, done that. But realize by not having the fear any longer, because I'm with the Father anyway, because I choose to be, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing. What are they going to do? Kill me? For God's sakes, you're going to die anyway. At least die standing on your 2 feet as a minister of a coward in a ditch someplace.
You can think that's a crutch, I don't know what to say to you, because that's the only thing that we have, really. You know? Is the community of man, the community of God.
Our honor and our dignity.
Truth
That's a problem.
They say as Christians, what are they going to do? Threaten me with heaven?
Yeah. You're going to send me to God sooner? Oh, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just like the Muslims. I agree with the Muslims. The Muslims are absolutely right.
You know, I can sit here and I can say I'm totally willing to lay down my life, and I've been in different situations where I've thought that I was, and you never really know till you're in that second when you have your family being threatened or you being threatened. But I'd like to say that, you know, we're all, I think, to the point where we're as far as we can possibly be without actually being in that moment. And I don't want to say I'm looking forward to that day, but I do think it's inevitable, and we will stand up with you and with all of our brothers and sisters across the United States and across the globe.
Yeah,
and we will
across
defeat
the globe.
Yeah, I mean, you can either die a
I'm trying to take
horrible
this
death.
railroad all the way to the other side of the world.
You can either die a horrible, cancerous death from aspartame and Diet Coke.
We got it all.
Or we
got it all. Every one of those people think that they're going to an aspartame and the rest of it. But they think that they're not going to be remembered. We're going back. We've got a record now of all of them.
Yeah.
The companies, which means we've got a record of the CEOs and the science who allowed this to happen, and the Food and Drug Administration and all these other health organizations, World Health Organization and so on, who allowed this out into the field to murder these hundreds of millions of people. Billions of people over the last couple thousand years. Ray. This BS is over.
Yeah. I mean, when you the internet, being able to research. I mean, I'm not a person out go to a library and pull out the Dewey Decimal Card. So to be able to go online and do this research, when you think about the number of people, the whistleblowers, the people that tried to warn us, that they have offed.
Incredible.
I mean, the amount of American heroes, the list of the heroes. If they build a monument in D.C., you know, I mean, it'd be another Vietnam Wall.
You know, my speculation and theories, but they do mine evidence. You know, that's what.
Who's going for pizza?
Yeah.
Where, in your opinion, is the border between nonviolence and violence? Because a lot of times I feel that although I'm not being attacked physically, I'm being attacked nonetheless.
Yes,
I'm being poisoned. I'm being offended. When is it that you take physical action back? If that's
I can stop the effects of the toxins. I can clear my body out. I can teach others how to do that. All right, my wife can. All right, so that no matter what they're throwing, even anthrax. Okay? We can stop the effects of anthrax and stuff. When we catch them deliberately, directly assaulting you personally, that's when you can move.
Yeah.
Or your neighbor, or your town, and you can see it directly. Or another wake up, you can move.
Yeah.
When they're attacking you up to your nation, you can move. Outside this nation, you can't move. Okay? Inside this nation, you can move.
So if anything, we should stand still until they draw the first move.
They must be the first ones to actively, physically, in the open, do it clearly.
In the United States, or could that be internationally
No,
abroad?
you cannot. You will be making a terrible mistake going to another country.
Because that country should deal with that problem.
That's correct.
But they've already done it in the open, just the media spins it so nobody knows.
That's right.
But that's when you gotta move. That's the thing right now. We have to put out, people have to move. You have to step forward. You have to do it. Not just for yourself, him, your brothers, your sisters, your parents.
That's what this meeting is, that's what you're doing right now, okay? You're preparing for that eventuality.
Okay, don't you think that if we had everyone that was just aware of this issue here, that if they did another 9/11 on us, you know,
they are doing another.
They're going to do another. It's not going to be 9/11.
No, I know it's a lot of things.
Well, I think that did that, but understand they've done 2 buildings so far now. The Memorial Building, now the World Trade Center.
You talking about?
Well, there's no question about that. Right. Absolutely, just like there's no question about this one. They've done so. I'm trying to think. What is collapsing the economy makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, I really think that's a
serious
because we're not near there.
They are really getting so close by continuously just blowing up things. That's not working.
I see them as doing a final looting. When I see the gas prices going up like this, when I see just all the corruption, hedge funds, and things that they're doing on Wall Street, it seems as though they're just doing a final looting before they blow it.
I smell bird flu.
Well, what?
In terms of
they're telling us that bird flu is coming. It's all over the.
Well, go to Northcom's site. Northcom is this new. It goes against Posse Comitatus, the new coordination between Pentagon, military, and first respond police, local police, and stuff. This fusion, and it's all bird flu. They have a PowerPoint presentation how they're going around the country telling people how they're going to round people up, and you know what I'm saying?
We're not trying to win. We're not trying to win something. The war has already begun. Right now, we're trying to have soldiers for a time we're called. I guess you know. I've been looking at this 9/11 truth, exposing the New World Order, so on and so forth, as a battle to sort of win, so we won't have to. Have violence and have an army so they will back off. But I think that the bottom line is here: how can we possibly expect them to back off?
Yeah, this
never happened before.
A tool of awakening.
They can't. You talk about the New World Order.
Well, now whatever thousands of words you want to use to describe it.
This is the closest they've ever been to being able to possibly control the world. They know that we're waking up. So there's 2 freight trains right now, coming full speed ahead, right at each other. Right. And here's what's happening. One's opening up, one's opening up, one's opening up. And so when we hit, let's see who's open the most. We have the numbers. We already have the numbers, gentlemen. Well, you don't hear about it.
You have to conquer that fear as well.
That's right. Well, believe me, it's no hero to go out there and go in the face with a bunch of guns and somebody shooting an F-16 coming in, or them shooting this microwave crap at you, or some puke gas, or whatever the case may be. That's going to be some tough roads. Oh, we're going to lose a lot of us when this happens. But however, we must reciprocate with absolute extreme prejudice when that goes down.
Right.
Okay?
And we will.
And we will. We will not do the things that we do not touch families, or kids, wives, and so on. We don't do that sort of thing. That's not a Medellin cartel group, the crap there. That's the United States government. That's what they do. We don't do that. It gets personal, but we go for them. If it has to go that far, you better believe it. You better go for them. In your own town, city, county, and state, because they'll be all over you like a mob of African killer bees.
Do you believe any of our major metropolitan cities are one day soon going to be destroyed?
I have no idea.
I liked the comment about your community. The community will defend itself. Can one person make a difference within that small town of Buffalo, Idaho, or wherever the heck you are? And I think we're all small little communities.
That's what we are.
That's what it is.
We're made up of. And just think, well, evil will never leave the world, gentlemen.
It's a necessary evil.
Yes, because just think if you had a society, it's like the yin yang thing.
Yeah.
Think if you had a society that was all good.
Well, Noah took his family onto the ark, and everything was destroyed, and out of his own family. Then it didn't take but one generation.
So that's a nice.
So you just need to keep a check and balance. That's what check and balance is all about.
Right.
Keep evil where it belongs. Keep good where it belongs. But you got to have them both. Otherwise, it's all bad. All good would be all bad.
The checks and balances in this system is that if they just leave you alone.
No, because I mean, if they just leave you alone, you would be a slave. If they did whatever they want to do. Remember, the
no,
biggest...
I'm saying if they left you alone and just let you live your life and do what you want to do. I mean, what would you do? You'd garden and you'd go to work and you'd do your thing and you'd live your life. But now they have to pull you over for going 2 miles over the speed limit. They keep pushing it on us. The next level, the next level.
Remember, they only have jurisdiction over you if you allow it.
Yeah.
Only 2 ways they can have any sway over you: if you allow it or by force. If they use force, you got it.
And Ed, I just got my first red light traffic camera ticket. Hanging out with these guys in New York. I had no idea they had them coming in through Jersey City. Yeah. Great. Now there's no police.
Now you got robots.
Yeah.
And that's okay. New World Order.
I saw a
robots
judge.
going to take over the world anyway.
I saw personally a judge, an elderly white woman judge. I was going to get a dispute, a red ticket. Before she even looked at, at anything, she said, "Look, if you're going to try to dispute the red light ticket, you might as well give it up. I got a big blown up picture. If you were behind the line before the first shot and after the line in the second shot, that's it." So I came up to her. She just, I didn't even get to say a word. I lost. But what was amazing is that there was a black lady who appeared just before us, and this was the intimidating part. She had pictures of her car registration, blown up pictures of a car that wasn't even in the picture. The license plate, although it was the same license plate, it was a different state, and you could clearly see that it was 2 different states. And so everybody in the room was just like, "Oh, this is so obvious. This is so clear and cut." And she used some bureaucratic, I don't know, she said something and said, "Oh, I can't dismiss this. This is something else." And everybody was just shocked to see that. Obviously, it's not her car. A machine took the picture. There was nobody there, and she was guilty.
Well, what that's coming from is that out of the judge's mouth comes the law. That's why I say to you, we have lost all faith and confidence in our court system. It doesn't exist anymore for us because there are no court systems that work lawfully any longer. They're not even operating under their own rule of law. They're just not doing it. And so if they're not going to operate even under their own rules, even though they're bogus too, then what are we walking into their courts for? You walk into their courtroom, you're accepting their jurisdiction. You cannot walk into a fiction. Did you know that all law, all contract, all law it's created by man is fiction? Did you know that?
Sounds plausible.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it.
Well, you should. Because when we bring that issue up, they realize they know that it's up, it's over. We know the truth. So now they don't know what to do with us. Because now they know that we know the whole scheme. Otherwise, they'd have been here a long time ago.
How many people are there like you? I've only heard of a handful of cases. I can't remember their names.
Well, you got John Joe Gray in Texas, been 5 years at it. You got somebody in your state.
Who is the Midwest that did a small movie about the gentleman farmer?
Red Beckman?
Beckman? Yeah, was that it?
Well, he left.
That he ran and there was a manhunt for him.
Oh, Gordon Call.
He was an older man, right? And his son
is in jail, still in jail. He should have been out long before this. His son didn't have anything to do with it. But Gordon Call was no different than I am.
Right.
I mean, you guys would be. And Gordon Call, he did kill two federal marshals because they were, again, they're coming after him to arrest him. He said, "No, you're not. I didn't break any laws." "Oh, yes, you're under arrest for that, okay." They're terrorist type thing, okay, whatever. Like they're trying to go after the white supremacist. Gordon Call is becoming very dangerous.
Yeah. I think that's a great message too to the law enforcement community too out there, is that maybe they think because they can wear all these bulletproof vests they're not going to die. That they've got so much firepower.
Yeah, he's got 2.
Yeah.
I got one upstairs.
I got one.
I mean, what else?
What I'm saying is, I think they've got this mindset, where they take all this training and stuff. They've maybe seen too many episodes of
They're immortal.
They're immortal, yeah.
Yeah.
Special weapons and tactical.
Right.
Wow, man, macho man.
I think about the movie True Romance when they come in at do you ever see that movie? Where they come in and there's two bodyguards standing there with some automatic weapons, and they come in, police, freeze! And they're like, no, in fact, we hate the police. And we're not putting down our guns. And they were like, oh no, you know, they like, whoever does that, we expect everyone to submit.
But you know, Michael, what bothers me, yeah, that was been the mindset before, it's not anymore. Now the police know this. That is that they're making the police, for a long time, ever since the 70s, actually make the police look stupider and stupider. Okay? To the point now where today, where most of us out here realize that it's more truth than fiction. But they really are not too smart.
Right.
They're just doing my job, they'll tell you, just doing my job and just doing what I'm told. Well, that's what everybody says. But I says, you know, there's millions of people dying around the world each year because of just that statement.
Yeah. They're doing their job.
Just doing my job. If your job gets somebody killed in my family, and you're doing it, and I'm going to be reciprocal to your family.
Tell you what makes me sick is it's all over TV. Someone is going, okay, I give up, or you know, just try, and they knock them down to the ground purposely, and jam their knees into their heads. That's police training.
That's Russian tactics. That's the Russians are the ones who taught.
They did to him.
Oh, is that right?
What?
What they did to you?
Yeah, they did to me. They put me down in the blacktop. Oh, Mr. Rock, well, here, we'll show you where the leak is. Working with the water department. Oh, well, I knew what it was. That's why I parked on the other side of the building, came around, and I knew it was time to bring it to a head anyway. So now I had my case to see if they did anything. So they did. Slammed it to the ground, and they did. And there's about 3 or 4 guys on top of me. You know, I said, get up, and I screaming at one guy, screaming at the top of me, get up, get up, get up. I said, how the hell am I going to get up with a 1,000-pound man on top of me? Okay? So, I mean, they really come across as being stupid.
Right.
So, now these guys you see, now the reason for hats all looking the same, the reason for the masks and everything else all being the same.
Conditioning.
Conditioning to get you to be, see, because under the mask that they wear, you don't know what they look like. God, they can look like Godzilla or a vampire or something that's really horrible, right? So they look all the same.
Well, also, when people can't see your face, you feel much more free to do things that you ordinarily wouldn't do.
That's true.
But what's even, now, all I can think of when I see those guys coming down like that now is I think of Star Wars. The Stormtroopers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Evil Empire. Republic, democracy, Republic.
Well, that movie is subliminal to what's going on.
Of course it is. A lot of Star Wars. The whole thing is.
What I'm getting at is when I say, you know, they kind of feel a little bit immortal because they think that they have all the technology and all the weapons and the trainings and all these things. Really, the point is, what are you dying for? I mean, because if you're going to go in as an IRS agent, you know, what do you want to put your life on the line for? To collect
money?
Tax revenue? You know, you're going to go in charging.
Well, you know something? I'm going to give the U.S. Marshal out of Congress credit for that because he said when and even Moynier, who's that position, director of the U.S. Marshal in these different states, he says, no, we're not coming. We have no plans whatsoever of going up there to the Browns. They kept telling him.
Yeah, didn't he make a statement of the U.S. Marshal that this is a revenue issue? It's not. Right. It's civil, almost a civil issue. It's not even. Right. But didn't he rescind that just recently? Now, didn't he say, well, you know, if we're charged, if we have to go in, then
yeah, they got to do what they've got to do if they're ordered to do so. But and that's okay with us. Okay.
They're not leaving.
Well, no, they're not leaving.
I mean, to get this mindset. Because honestly, like my first, are we still taking, by the way?
Yeah.
I'll ask my question later.
Well, look at the Waco tapes. These guys look like a bunch of bumbling idiots.
Well, they were. They were murderers. They were in there doing what they were told. And it's just prior to the raid on Waco, if you look at one of the videos, you see that they were out there getting themselves all psyched out.
Right.
You know, getting themselves, we're going there.
The one guy shoots himself in the foot trying to go up the ladder. I mean, it's a piece of cops.
He had a Glock on, and that's why. There's no safety in the Glock. But he had a round in the chamber, and that's the mistake. You know, you make that. Just before you're ready to use it, load it. That's why I don't like the Glocks. Or however. Back here. But what really bothered me is the next guy that came in, and there was 4 guys went up, 3 went in. And the 4th guy shot and killed the 3 that just went in.
Yeah. That's what...
that was clear, crystal clear.
Yeah.
Okay, he threw in a flashbang. Right. They just go in the window. He's the 4th guy ready to climb the window behind him. Instead, he throws in a flashbang and then sprays the inside of the room. You can see the bullets coming out of the wall.
That's right.
They were trying to protect themselves, like he's shooting against Waco people who had already killed those other 3. What a crock! There was no time period for Waco people to do that.
And you saw the thermal imaging from the helicopters?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
That was
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that when they're shooting at them. Yeah.
Well, that wasn't this change. That was
Waco revealed or something like that.
Wake
up or wake up.
Well, no, there's a special one just for Waco.
Yeah.
Wake up or wake up.
Well, we don't need to keep you anymore on camera or whatever.
It's been a tremendous honor, truly.
Thank you. As I say, I think we all think you guys, not think, we all know you guys are real patriots, and I look forward, and I sort of don't look forward to the day that we stand with you, like truly, side by side.
Neither do I.
You know,
I'm afraid, gentlemen, although it's on all of our watches, and we're 40 years apart in age, but there's a lot of people in between. Age is not going to make any difference. Nationality won't make any difference, but it is on our time.
From hearing you speak, it sort of sounds like you want it to happen.
I
say this because I feel the same.
The only reason for that is because I want it to be over. For the sake of our children in the future. But because this time the Freemasonry, because it's always been the Freemasons, this time the Freemason seed must be eliminated.
And that's a tough company to show.
The whole ideology.
I really don't get it, you know, because we're talking about starting first blood, right? Taking first.
No,
we're not going to do it. No, we're going to do the opposite. That we wouldn't do that, right?
We will never do that.
We'll never do that.
Never.
I'm going to ask.
So what's
If we were having this conversation back in 2000, I would think 9/11 would be the first blood. Wouldn't you? No.
No. Well, I would say 1861, March 29th, when they declared Cena Day and the Lincoln.
How about that thing that happened in the 60s or 70s with the Indians? They had a standoff with the FBI?
Yeah, I didn't talk about up in Montana.
Right.
But again, it's been an honor. It truly has been.
Yes,
it really is. You guys accepting us into your homes really means a lot.
Truly.
Appreciate it. You know,
I found out
you never met us before, and that's amazing.
And I feel like I learned a whole lot just in this little
That's okay. I figured the house is rigged anyway, so.
I'm gonna stop recording. That's enough.
And you could have it